Kia ora. I'm going to share another layout I have created for the Confessions of a Paper Addict design team. In this layout, I'm going to be using both the free cut file for November that you can find on the Confessions of a Paper Addict group this month only, as well as one of these titles here, that one that said Love You. So the Hearty Heart is the free cut file of this month. I've cut the title out just on some white daisy cardstock, and I've also cut the heart out on the white daisy. I sort of turned it slightly on an angle, and I shrunk it down to about 8.5 inches wide in its widest part, and I've turned that around, and now I'm just sort of going through some of these gorgeous candid moments by close to my heart papers to choose one that I think works, and I settle on this gorgeous sort of two-toned ombre kind of paper, sort of got these gorgeous yellows or tangerines merging into some nice soft blues. And so I'm not going to waste all of this paper. I'm actually going to trim it down, and you'll see later on how I use a few other bits, and I'm just sort of doing some approximate measuring to cut down the piece that I'm going to tuck in behind this heart, so that I'm still making some good use of the patterned papers that are there. So I'm just going to use this tape runner. I'm really enjoying this wee tape runner actually. It's I think in mono ear or mono ear permanent adhesive, and it's got these kind of dots on it. But it seems to just glide really well and sticks it down quite nicely. And I just love how that's got that sort of almost painterly kind of look on there. But I am going to add some splatter. So I'm using the Gilt Dina gloss acrylic spray, and I'm just using the end of the spray taken out of the bottle to tap it down. And I'm also going to use last year's colour of the year for close to my heart, which was Bluebell, and I'm just splattering that around in general as well, that you saw there. So I have got this photo of my husband and I when we went for a walk down by the river recently. It's not very often that he goes for walks with me. It's normally my daughter Alicia, but I actually managed to get him to stop probably a fencing project or something like that to go down for a bit of a walk in some fresh air, so that was quite nice. So I'm now choosing some patterned paper that I think will go in nicely behind the U in the title, and I end up using one of those off-cut pieces that's on the background. So another really good reason why we need to only use what we need, and we can save the other pieces for another part of the project. So I'm just using some of the liquid glass to adhere this down. I have been experimenting with different glues and things for cut files lately, but I keep coming back to this one. It just seems to have the stickability, and with the fine tip nib, just the adhesive, the flow and things that just seems to work really well. So gone back to that. It's just important to make sure you put the cap on each time with the wee needle that goes into it. Otherwise it can dry out really quickly, and it's quite a bit of a process to clear the nozzle properly. So you can see me there sort of working out how to get the wee needle through there properly. So now I'm going to fussy cut around these letters, and I'm going to do most of that off camera because you really don't need to see me cutting all of those pieces. So now I'm just going to map my photo on a few different pieces of this Candid Moments collection, just adding some interest, making the photo stand out from the background a bit more, and just playing around with the colours and textures and different layers in here. So I really like how this is sitting on this beautiful cut file, the Hearty Hearts. Not sure why Virginia made it the free one, because it's actually pretty versatile and quite fabulous. So make sure you pop into the Facebook group and access the free cut file before the month is up. And having seen what's coming in December, be definitely a good idea to be part of the group to see what's coming up. So there's some really cool files coming ahead, as well as some amazing releases from November, like the title that I'm using here. So now I'm just wrinkling up the edges of these photo mats and putting them into my layout. And now I'm just playing around with the title, and I kind of had a picture in my head of what this might look like when I started. And it pretty much came right, but finding that paper, that Candid Moments paper, really set it off for me, that base paper that's under the hearts. So now I'm just using some thin foam tape here to stick down the U part. I do stick down the top part, but I'll show you what I do with that shortly. because I wanted it to sit up, but I didn't want it to be taking over and standing out too much from the photo. And I really like the white on white with this. So now I'm looking at some of those Candid Moments stickers and thinking, okay, what stickers might I use on this page? And I had a look at some of the sort of the wood look chipboard ones too, but they didn't quite work. Love this little bird, and just tucked it in down there. It just pulls the colours in beautifully. And there was a few sort of love you stickers or in statements and things. So I'm going to pull a couple of those off and use them at a few different points on the page. So just tucking them in behind the patterned paper layers. So now it's time to actually adhere down the photos, or the photo, with those foam tape again to lift that up a little bit more. And then I'm going to stick down the U as well before I glue down the love. So just peeling off those pieces. I really like the foam tape because you can tear it easily and it does fit the letters and stuff on there quite nicely. So now I am going to stick down some of the title, and I'm just using again the liquid glass there just to give it that, so that it's going to be lower down and sticking. So at the moment I'm just sticking down either end of that, and I do decide to add a bit more to the letters in the middle a bit later on because I didn't want them to get caught on page protectors or something like that. And so again, just putting the lid on the liquid glass so it doesn't get a sticky nozzle, and then grabbing out some more wee stickers and sort of moving around and trying to choose some spaces. I end up seeing that it could look kind of cool to add another wee point of interest up the top left, and so I am putting that together. And I'm just going to use again a little piece of the paper from that same backing paper that I have already cut down, and I decide I'm just going to cut it like that. So I've got a little bit of the zip strip and a little bit of the colour, and I found my stapler so I can stick that down at the top, and I decide I need another staple up there too. Anyway, I'm seeing here that these the V and the O are still sticking up a little bit, so I'm just going to add a little bit more of the liquid glass to them and hold them down a bit to try and get them lower down on the page. So now I'm going to add my journaling and basically saying that, again, like I mentioned earlier, it's sort of a rare occasion that my husband heads out for a walk, and it was nice to wander down by our river and to get a photo together. Hey, I hope you enjoyed seeing my process for this layout, and I hope you'll head over to the Etsy store to either purchase some of these cut files and head into the Confessions of a Paper Addict Facebook group and get the free cut file for this month. It's worth it. Hey, thanks for watching.